Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Ham Nation is provided by CashFly at CACHEFLY.com.
This episode of Ham Nation is brought to you by LegalZoom. Visit LegalZoom.com to save on your legal needs and gain access to a network of legal plan attorneys for guidance. LegalZoom is not a law firm but provides self-help services at your specific direction. Visit LegalZoom.com and use offer code HAMNation to receive $10 off at checkout. And by DX Engineering. DX Engineering offers practically everything you need to outfit your shack, plus the fastest shipping in the industry. In-stock items ship the same day, Monday through Friday until 10 p.m. Eastern. For more information, visit dxengineering.com/HamNation. By ICOM. For more information, visit ICOMAmerica.com/HamNation. This is Ham Nation, episode number 166, September 24th, 2014. Ham Radio goes to Hollywood. Hey, good evening. You found Ham Nation, and we are so glad you have. We have the standard cast of tomfoolery here, with the exception of the lead dog. That's right. We don't have Bob Heil here tonight, but we do have, out on the West Coast, we have our good friend Gordon West, WB6NOA, holding down the left coast. How are you, my friend?
I'm okay. The West Coast is still here. We have good weather, incandescent light bulbs, nice and quiet, but they get hot. CFLs, well, you don't want to break one and get cut by one, and they slow to come on, and they make noise. The new breed of LEDs, they run somewhat cool. They have big heat sinks, as you can see, but this particular one runs 3 additional S units noisy. And Don, look what I found. A green light, one word, green light LED that runs nice and quiet, not totally quiet. So we're in the next few days unscrewing all sorts of light bulbs here and going from 60 watts natural color down to 13 watts with a 60 watt brightness, and again a nice warm 2700 type of warm color. So we're happy. Good. Back to you, and then we'll talk about Peoria, and then we head up to Pacificon. Don?
Yeah, good stuff. I use a compact fluorescent on this side for my lighting, and I use an LED over on this side. And let me tell you something. I broke one of those compact fluorescents and I cut myself, and I don't believe all the hype. I mean, I got that stuff all over me, and it didn't affect me at all. Let's see what's going on up a couple hours to my north, and George Thomas, W5JDX in Jackson. Hello, George. Saved me from myself.
Yeah, good evening, Don. I dropped one a while back, and it shattered, and it cut me on the leg in several places there. The nasty little glass shards that come off of those things. Well, tonight I'm going to be building something that Don, our friend Joe Eisenberg, turned me on to, and that's the Adventure Tuner Kit.
Oh, neat. Cannot wait to see that. I think we have Dale with us as well. Dale, are you in here tonight? Let's come in and say hi.
Hey, we're here there. We're all ready to go. Got some good videos, especially one from the set of Last Man Standing with John Amadeo. So stand by for that. We've got good football weather here, too, in Kansas. Upper 70s, very, very low 80s all week and for the next week to be. So we're looking forward to some antenna working weather also. Don, go ahead.
All right, good deal. Well, everybody has checked in for the most part. We'll check in with Amanda in the chat room a little bit later on. And yeah, a lot of good stuff. A lot of stuff about the K6H Last Man Standing Ham Radio Goes Hollywood thing, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. But first, let's check back with Gordon and the short shots. Gordon?
That's going to be fun. For those not able to get up to Hollywood, we can watch it on W5KUB with his streaming videos. And these are guaranteed, they say, not to shatter. So here, live and direct, we're going to find out. Here we go. One green light LED. Made a big noise, but it didn't shatter. We hit the cap, but that's okay. All right, let's roll the Peoria videos. Well, actually, they're still shots. We did an instructor academy on that Friday, this past Friday, And we had a packed room thanks to the Peoria American Red Cross and Fritz that was able to get us into the facility because he works closely with them, WD9FMB. And after a whole day of training, these instructors are ready to go out and start using materials that they never have thought about using before. And it's going to be exciting for them to start teaching a new way of teaching new hams as well as upgrades. So it was a fun class. And that is Fritz, WD9FMB. He was assisted by Bob, AB9B, and a lot of others, Milt, K9QZI, and Fritz and his whole Peoria Amateur Radio Club, Radioactive. And it was a fun class, and we sent out about 60 pounds of stuff, which we'll have up at the get-together at the upcoming Ham Fest as Pacificon, as well as New York and New Jersey. We bring all the stuff so the instructors can see what we're going to be working with to help teach ham radio and show them stuff. All right, our next video. And we, of course, had the Blazing Pickle, and we had GPS demos. And these instructors were great as part of the Peoria class because they brought me some of their demos, and they were great. During the Saturday and Sunday, they sold about 2,000 tickets, maybe 1,500 on scene. MFJ and all of the group was there. And let me tell you, the vendors all worked together. And those that attended the Peoria Superfest had a great time. And of course, there was a lot of used gear as well out on the flea market. And it was just a great time had by all. Debbie, who is Deb, the president, KA4DEB, had her troops standing tall. Mark, her best man, W9WGN, there to keep things going. And look at these prizes. Ham fests that have prizes really draw the hams. And KA9FET, Field Effect Transistor, getting some of these great shots. And, of course, our lead photographer was Don, N9ZGE. And, Brian, if you can go ahead and we'll go to the balloon. Every year they fly the balloon. And this year we did the big inflation. The weather was clear as a bell, but blowing like a mama. Here we are looking down at this balloon, wondering will it make 100,000 feet. And we certainly had a lot of gas. And we had to wear gloves, and I ended up with white pants after all of the stuff came off of the balloon. But here we are inflating the balloon. There would be an APRS package, and the balloon got bigger and bigger, and the wind got windier and windier, and the APRS says, I don't know. So finally, Valor is the best because we didn't want to let this thing go and not have a good track of it. So we filled it up this far. We got it 2 or 3 feet off the ground on a wind gust, and we said, I think that's it. So let me tell you, though, Peoria, whether the balloon flew or not, was great. And I thank everybody at the Peoria Amateur Radio Club for a great time. New instructors, I learned from you a lot of tricks of the trade of teaching those classes. And we'll see everybody coming up on October 10, 11, and 12 at Pacificon. And good news, Leo, thank you. W6TWT, Leo Laporte is going to be there on Wednesday. Not necessarily at the convention, but at the TWIT studio on Wednesday, October 8th, where we're going to do our live cast right there, and Leo is going to kick things off. So, Leo, thanks for giving us a little bit of your time on Wednesday, a couple of weeks from now, and we'll see everybody up at the TWIT studios. Don, back to you.
All right, good stuff as always, Gordo. Thank you for that. And we're going to get back with George with Smoke and Solder here in just a second. But first, I want to tell you about something that is really, really important to you, especially in the wake of my car wreck that I had yesterday and totaled out my car. You need good legal advice. You know, sometimes, hope you don't, but if you do, and it's always, you know, if you're going to get in a car wreck, it's always a good idea to have a will. But when you're planning for your future, you got to do financial planning too. You get insurance, you drive a car. But for real peace of mind, you need to have your family and your finances legally protected. And that's where LegalZoom comes in. LegalZoom.com. For over 13 years, They've been helping Americans just like you and me get personalized wills, powers of attorneys, and living trusts. Living trust. Oh, I could go on for hours about the importance of that. But LegalZoom will tell you all about it. They'll help you also file LLCs if you're a business, S corporations, and more to protect you against personal liability. And that's what it's all about. The company was started by some of the best legal minds in the country. They make it absolutely painless for you to get the legal protection that you need no matter what it is. They'll help you. If you have questions, you can always reach out to someone at LegalZoom.com. They will talk you through the process. Protect your family, protect your future at LegalZoom.com. I cannot stress this enough. Visit LegalZoom.com. Check it out with offer code HamNation to get $10 off at checkout. You can get legal help through independent attorneys and self-help services at your direction, but LegalZoom.com is not a law firm. And LegalZoom, thank you so much for your support of Ham Nation and helping us live our lives safely so that we can keep some of this stuff and pass it on to our kids. Speaking of kids, he's a big kid, and he's got a soldering iron, which makes him doubly dangerous. George, tell us about this adventure tuner kit that Eisenberg told you about.
It comes from Soda Beams over in the UK. And so I guess you would consider this maybe an import. I don't know, but it went together real quick. It's a QRP tuner, of course, and you wouldn't want to run a lot of power to it. I think maximum is 20 watts, but it's real simple to build. It's a little L network tuner, and we didn't have time to cover the testing of it this week. We're going to do that next time. And, well, let's just take a look at it. This week on Smoke and Solder, we're going to build a nice little simple kit that came from sodabeams.co.uk. It's the Adventure Tuner kit, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. The Adventure Tuner is a QRP L network tuner with a difference. The network is bidirectional. Both sides of the L network can be used for the antenna or the radio. It's got B and C connectors for coax on both sides of the network, so it can be used with coax-fed antennas or wire antennas with screw-down binding posts or 4mm banana plugs. Hyperbright LEDs indicate antenna current to aid you in tuning. Rated at 20 watts peak, 10 watts continuous, the typical matching range of the Adventure Tuner is 3.5 to 30 megahertz. The first step is optional. If you'd like, you can paint the legends on the box. It's covered with a paper overlay, and the legends have been engraved into the box. We can use an acrylic paint and fill these holes, let that dry for 24 hours, and we should have a nice looking kit. Before we begin filling the engraving with paint, we should put a piece of paper over the top here and use our thumbnail to press down around the letters to make sure that the paper overlay has been firmly seated to the board. I'm going to use a blunt pencil for this. We should use acrylic paint to fill in the etching, and I picked up some at Walmart. They say that you should take a plastic spatula and fill in the holes with that. Well, I don't have a plastic spatula, so I'm going to use a razor blade and hope for the best. I'm going to use a Q-tip to fill in the lettering, then we'll use a razor blade and kind of squeegee it off. Now, we need to let it sit for 24 hours and dry thoroughly. 24 hours has elapsed now, and it's time to peel off the paper liner. It comes off pretty smoothly. There will be a few places left where the paper had gotten disconnected, where there were holes in the pattern, and I'll take an X-Acto knife and pull the other pieces off. Now, that's a very good looking panel to me. I think they did a good job of engraving it. Now, the kit doesn't come with a manual like so many kits today, but they give you a little slip of paper with a link on it here where you can download the PDF file. I'm going to put all the parts here in a box so that I don't lose any of them, and it's pretty much what you would expect to find in a tuner of this style. So let's get started building. The first thing we do is mount all the hardware, and we begin by mounting the 6 switches. Now we'll put on the B and C connectors, and we make sure that we put on the lock washer first on the rear, then the solder tab, and then finally the nut to hold it together. After we put on the B and C connectors, we move to the banana jacks. We put the large washer on the rear first, followed by one nut. Then we put on the solder tab, followed by a small washer, and then another nut. After all that, it's time to mount the variable capacitor, and there are 2 screws that hold it in. There's also an extender for the shaft that needs to go on, They say to put some epoxy on the threads and the extender so that it won't come unlocked when you're twisting the knob. I don't have any, so I'm going to use my favorite 3M weather strip adhesive. Everything you can mount with a screw now has been installed, so it's time to put on the LEDs. For this, we're going to use a little hot glue to hold them into place. Now it's time to wind some toroids, and since there's 8 of them, I'm only going to do one here on camera to show you how it's done, and then you can wind the rest on your own. There are 2 sheets in the manual that you should print out. One gives you a table of all the toroids, the core type, which is marked by color, the length of wire you're going to need to wind it, the number of turns, and it also shows us what the inductance will be. They're thinking you're going to sit down and wind all the toroids at once, so they're giving you a sheet of paper here so that after you wind them, you can tape each toroid to it so that you don't get them mixed up. I'm going to begin by winding number 1 here, and we can see it takes a T50-10 core, which is black, and we're going to need 19 centimeters of the shellac covered wire. Each time the wire passes through the core is considered 1 turn. And we're going to put 6 turns on this one right here. We need to leave 3 centimeters hanging out the end. So let's wind 6 turns. If you're going to count these later, you count them on the inside of the core, not on the outside. Once you've done all the windings, you take them and spread them out evenly around the core so that you're taking up about 80% of the core. Now we're going to tape it down to the sheet and go on to the next one. Boy, that's a real thing of beauty, isn't it? All those toroids already laid out and ready to go. So now we get to do a little bit of soldering. We thread a piece of wire through all the bottom terminals of the switches, and then we solder them. And now we cut the wires between each of the switches, leaving just the contacts on each switch connected to each other. And now we'll slide another wire through the center terminal of all the switches. The left end of this wire will be connected to the red binding post at the top left, and the right wire will be connected to the right red binding post. After we've soldered all those connections, we cut the wires out between the terminals on each switch. So the switches are connected together, but the terminals on the switches themselves are not. We'll take another piece of wire and solder it to the solder tabs on the BNC connector ground, as well as the right-hand bottom or the black binding post. That binding post might be green in some kits. Then the wire will be bent across the top of the switches, not touching them, and connected to the center post of the capacitor. We do the same thing on the left-hand side and bend that wire over where it contacts the center post of the capacitor as well. We'll connect another wire between the 2 outer terminals of the capacitor and bend it up and connect it to the left red binding post. Now we'll check all the solder connections on the tuner and be sure that none of the wires are bent touching each other. All of that looked okay, so now we'll solder 1 lead from each LED over to the bottom or the black or green binding post. It doesn't matter which wire from the LED is connected. And now it's time to mount some toroids. We'll begin with toroid number 1. We use one of the nylon screws to affix it right here over the right-hand switch, and the 2 leads will connect to the 2 terminals down there on the switch. We'll need to tin this first with a soldering iron to remove some of the shellac off of the wire so that it will solder to the switch. Next, we'll install toroid number 3, not number 2, and we'll connect it the same way. And the same thing with toroid number 5. Now we'll do toroid number 2, and it'll go between toroid number 1 and 3, and it's connected to the second switch from the right. Following suit, we install toroid number 4 and number 6 the same way. To mount these 3 toroids, we'll hot glue them to the ends of the nylon screws, being careful that they don't touch the toroids below. We've still got 2 toroids left though, numbers 7 and 8, and those are used for RF sampling. We'll connect a wire from the top red terminal on each side, and we'll feed that wire through a toroid and connect the other side of the wire to the positive pin of the BNC connector. 1 lead from this toroid is connected to the bottom black or green binding post, and the other lead is connected to a 330 ohm resistor on over to the remaining lead of the LED. We do the same thing to the other side of the tuner. To hold all this in place, I'm going to use a little hot glue to center the toroid over the wire that it's sampling. Now our tuner's complete. We should go through and check all the solder connections carefully to make sure we have no cold solder joints, and also check the wires in here to be sure that none are unintentionally touching anything conductive. And here's our completed tuner kit. It looks great. We've got binding posts here for connecting balance lines, and we've also got B and C connectors for coax or unbalanced rigs or antennas. Now we've run out of time for this episode, but next time we're going to test this out and see how it works. If you'd like to build an adventure tuner yourself, check out sodabeams.co.uk. And that was a lot of fun. I'd encourage you, if you're into QRP and need a tuner, to check that out because it's real simple to build. Goes together pretty quick if you just sit down and build it. If you're shooting video while you're doing it, it's going to take you all weekend. I ended up with a little over 2 hours worth of video to cut down into 10 minutes there, but I had a great time doing it. You know, I asked a question last week, what is the minimum allowable discharge of, or let me try that again. What is the minimal allowable discharge voltage for maximum life of a standard 12-volt lead-acid battery? And this came from the general amateur radio exam, and your choices were A, 6 volts, B, 8.5 volts, C, 10.5, or D, 12 volts. Well, I got an answer from J, KE5NIZ, and he said the answer is 10.5 volts. And congratulations, Jay. That's what the answer is. I got some feedback from some different people that didn't necessarily agree with that, but hey, we were asking the question from the general exam, and that was the correct answer. So, Jay, I'm going to send you this DX Engineering DXE 281 speaker. Be great to plug into your rig and get a little bit of more volume out of it. So let's do right the opposite for next week. Why don't we give away a microphone? And I think it'll be this Heil HMM hand mic. It's a new Heil hand mic. It's got the element mounted inside here like they all do behind the grill, but there's an additional grill on top here that really helps with the sound of it. I don't have it plugged in here right now, but we did try it 1 week on Ham Nation, and the thing really sounds great. A lot of difference between this and your traditional dynamic microphones that you'd normally find on the rig. If you'd like to win that, then answer this. Why did the direction I connected the LED in the Adventure Tuner kit not matter? If you think you know the answer to that, send it to me at hamnationcontest@gmail.com, and you could be next week's lucky winner. And right now, Don, have you got some news for us from DX Engineering?
I do, as a matter of fact, and we're talking digital. Digital. You want to go digital? That's what you need right there. See that? That's the Tigertronics Signal Link USB. This is my own personal one. I've had this for a while. Love this thing. This is probably the easiest plug-and-play way to do it. It is a standalone sound card. It's USB powered on the back. You got this, and then you've got a plug for your radio. And that's it. It plugs right in the back of the radio, plugs into your computer, and boom, you're on your way. And DX Engineering has the Signal Link in stock and ready to ship along with the right radio hookup cables and the jumper modules to make going digital totally hassle-free. I love this thing. I'm telling you, I love it. How does it work? Well, okay, computer to radio sound card interface. Software that unlocks the digital modes. Works with virtually all radios. It's PC and Mac compatible because it's USB. Uses its own built-in sound card to communicate between your radio and your PC. It's fully FCC tested and certified. Incredibly easy to install, even easier to use. All the setup hardware and everything is included. The unit itself powered by your computer's USB port. There's no external power needed. Great for laptops. You're going to want to go out and do something portable, jack it into your laptop, and you are rolling. It supports all sound card digital and voice modes, PSK31, RIDI, SSTV, CW, MT36, Echolink, everything. A lot of aftermarket support is available too, and new uses are constantly being developed for this little gadget. The jumper modules will help you expand the functionality of your Signal Link because you can use the same one on various different radios. You just move the jumpers and you're rocking. Makes it really easy to swap radios. Front panel controls let you make transmit and receive audio adjustments on the fly. Come back to me for a sec and check this out. Right there's the front of it right there. You see that? They're knobs, actual knobs. You get to twist knobs with this thing. It's not just digital, it's analog, because you get to actually twist knobs. I love that, Ryan. I love it. Right now, DX Engineering has Tigertronics, all the accessories you need to get started. That's right. Every Tigertronics Signal Link hookup cable is just $14.95 when you purchase it with the main unit. The cables use the mic or the accessory connector on your radio with data DIN plugs. If you need some help choosing the right cable, well, DX Engineering can hook you up with that. All their techs will get you exactly what you need. DX Engineering has a ton more digital tools. Check out the comprehensive line of D-Star-enabled ICOM radios. Of course, D-Star communicate both digital voice and digital data modes. Internet Labs DV dongle, another clever product that gets you on D-Star just using your computer. Of course, the DVAP, the D-Star access point. It's all right there at DX Engineering. Start operating digitally with tools like the Tigertronics Signal Link. Remember, DX Engineering ships quick. You get your order in by 10 p.m. Eastern. If it's in stock, it'll be on a truck headed your way tonight. Proven products, expert advice, the fastest shipping in the industry. DX Engineering helping you shrink the globe. Go request your catalog or shop online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at dxengineering.com. And DX Engineering, thank you so much for your support of Ham Nation. dxengineering.com/HamNation. Get you some digital knobs. Do it today. Dale, what you got going on with Show Me Your Shack? Oh, you're going to tell us about KH6, aren't you? Take it away.
Well, a lot of information about KH6. I'd like to tip our hat first, though, to DX Engineering. Wanted to add on to your dialogue there and say that, man, for fantastic customer support and sales support, they are hard to beat. We spent quite a while on the phone the last couple of days with Rod, WN8R. That gentleman's been in ham radio since the 70s. He loves to build antennas, and what's more, he likes to talk about it, and we had a great time. And I'm getting ready to look at a active array and get it about 550, 600 feet away from the high-tension power lines along the Yellow Brick Road. So it could be fun. So anyway, tonight, Ham Nation goes to Hollywood. We've got a video shack tour, and there's a video challenge from two of our viewers. It's going out to Gordo, George, Don, and everyone in the chat room this evening. Let's jump right in now into a great overview of this weekend's K6H special event. And from the set of ABC's Last Man Standing, here's John Amadeo, NN6JA.
Hi, everybody. John Amadeo, NN6JA here. I'm the producer of Last Man Standing, starring Tim Allen, and I've worked in the entertainment industry for about 30 years. Hollywood has always had a relationship with amateur radio. Over the years, there have been lots of movies and TV shows featuring ham radio. Sometimes ham radio operators are the butt of jokes.
Hello? This is W6XRL4. Come in, come in.
And sometimes ham radio operators are shown helping to save the world. Some of you may know that on our show, Last Man Standing, Tim Allen's character, Mike Baxter, is a ham.
Mike, KA0XTT. Just a little shout out. Anybody having a good time here on Thanksgiving? Anybody hiding in their basement to avoid their relatives?
Of course, Mike Baxter's license is not real, and the KA0XTT call sign is fictitious. But there are a number of real licensed amateur radio operators on our crew. In 2012, the Last Man Standing crew hosted members of the Southern California-based Papa Repeater System and representatives of the Disney Amateur Radio Interconnect. While they held their special radio event, K6H, Hollywood Celebrates Ham Radio.
Thank you. You're 5 and 9 in Studio City.
And this is K6H.
Got you at 5'9" here on the set of Last Man Standing.
It was so much fun, we decided to do it again. K6H could not be held in a more appropriate location. Last Man Standing shoots on historic Stage 9 on the CBS Studio Center lot in Studio City, California. Movie stars like Roy Rogers, John Wayne, Joan Crawford, and Barbara Stanwyck graced the stages here on the lot. Over the years, such TV classics as Gunsmoke, Gilligan's Island, Bob Newhart, and The Mary Tyler Moore Show were all shot here. More recent hit shows produced on the lot were CSI New York, Will and Grace, and of course, Last Man Standing. We hope you'll join us on Sunday, September 28th from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific. We'll be on HF, VHF, UHF,
D-Star, IRLP, and a number of other channels. So thanks, John, for that outstanding report. And we'd like you to know John doesn't just produce one of the best television shows on the air, one that mentions ham radio every once in a while, but he's also growing the amateur radio population there in L.A., too. With the help of Gordo's courses, John now has 27 new hams on the crew at Last Man Standing. And let's move now to this weekend's activity. And if Brian will bring up the official K6H QSL card for this year, we'll show that to you. If you'd like to watch the activity this weekend, you can tune into Tom Medlin's W5KUB channel. He'll have the webcast live from K6H on the set of Last Man Standing. It'll be there from 1 till 4 Eastern Daylight Time Saturday, and also from 10:30 in the morning until 6 p.m. Eastern Time again on Sunday. That webcast is on W5KUB.com. You can do things like win a QSL card from Mike Baxter and Mandy. And those are nice-looking QSL cards, and there'll be prizes on the webcast there from W5KUB. So do check that out. And don't forget to try to work K6H on Sunday. They'll be on 28,420. That's upper sideband. 14,250. That's upper sideband. They'll also be on 7260, lower sideband down on 40. On D-Star, you'll find them on reflector 12A. And on Echolink, you can connect through WD4WDW-R and WB5EKU-R. Well, let's move on now and pick up a video, Show Me Your Shack. It's from Dave. He's AF5DN.
Hi there, AF5DN. Just thought I'd give you a quick Show Me Your Shack video. And we'll start over here on this side with the MFJ keyer. Every shack has to have paper and pen. And everyone needs a coffee cup. All of my audio from the radio comes out this KRK Rocket 5-inch studio monitor. And then I've got my Dell computer screen. The computer speaker is here. Wireless keyboard and mouse, of course. The PC's down here under the desk, just to kind of make it nice looking. The microphone is a Heil microphone fin, or the fin, and I've got a splatter shield on it that happened to come with it, but I'll take it off so you can get a nice look at that pretty microphone. Okay, and I use a handheld push to talk. It's got a nice long cable there. Radio, Kenwood TS2000. I'm using a LDG auto tuner, and for my digital mode, a Rig Blaster. And then all of the audio is routed through the Behringer mixer. And back here in the back, we're powering it all up with a 30 amp linear power supply, Anstron. Alright, so there you go. There is my Show Me Your Shack video.
Well, nice job, Dave, and thanks for letting the Ham Nation viewers tour your shack this evening. Well, let's wrap up tonight's video segment now with a challenge. That challenge goes out to Gordo, George, Don, and everyone in the chat room. Comes from Stefan, KA2KNX. You'll remember his video from Japan. And Joe, N6JRZ. Both of these hams are having trouble with QRN, and in Joe's case, sounds a lot like QRM. But both sent us video of the interference. We put them together in a short 30-second clip, 15 seconds each. Listen carefully now. There will be an exam when Amanda picks up the conversation on the chat room. Take it away, Brian. Okay, well, we're going to be interested in the answers from the chat room and from Gordo, George, and Don here a little bit later, and see if they could pinpoint those. I think that last one sounds like a over-the-horizon radar or something like that. But let's see what everybody says. Should be fun. Well, we'll shoot for another episode of Show Me Your Shack on October 8th. Right now, we only have 2 shack photos in, so please get your shack photos to us, and along with your Ham Shack videos or any kind of amateur radio-related video to HamNationVideos at twit.tv. Yet to come on Ham Nation, Amanda has the latest from the chat room and hopefully plenty of answers to the QRN-QRM challenge from Stefan and Joe. But first, let's roll Newsline. Here's Don, AE5DW.
From Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 1936, these are the Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, September 24th, 2014. Up front this week, ham radio in space. A ham radio payload is expected to be in geosynchronous orbit around the Earth by the end of 2016. Amateur Radio Newsline's Heather Emby, KB3TZD.
Qatar Eutelsat Satellite Company has signed a contract with Mitsubishi Electric Corporation to build a geostationary communication satellite. Once on orbit, SL-2 will be positioned at 26 degrees east for television broadcasting in that part of the world, using both KU and KA band transponders. It will also provide the first ham radio geostationary communication capability linking Brazil and India using a pair of Phase 4 amateur radio transponders that it will carry with it into space. The ham payload will consist of a 250 kHz wide linear transponder for conventional analog operations, in addition to a second transponder which will have an 8 MHz bandwidth. The later is intended for experimental digital modulation systems and DVB format amateur television. As of now, uplinks will be in the 2.4 to 2.45 GHz range, with downlinks in the 10.45 to 10.5 GHz amateur satellite service allocations.
The Qatar Amateur Radio Society and Qatar Satellite Company are cooperating on the project. Aries and Races members in Clark County, Nevada, activated Monday, September 8th after heavy rain sparked flash flooding. Here's Hal Rogers, KHCMD.
Heavy flooding and mud closed nearly 50 miles of Interstate 15, stranding motorists and truckers while buckling or washing away pavement in many areas. The marooned motorists were cared for at a middle school in the city of Mesquite on the Arizona border. Emergency sheltering was also needed for nearly 200 tribal members of the Wampa River Reservation. A slow-moving storm that spun off from Hurricane Norbert dumped nearly 4 inches of rain within 90 minutes onto the town of Moapa. The Amateur Radio Emergency Service personnel staffed the Emergency Operations Center in Las Vegas, while the Clark County Mobile Communications Vehicle was on the scene as a result of this severe weather event in which at least 2 people lost their lives.
Sunday, October 12th, we'll see this year's running of the Boston Half Marathon, and ham radio operators are needed for the event. Some 20 radio amateurs will be required to cover medical teams to support their communications and logistics. The event will run from 6:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. All any volunteer needs is a dual-band handheld with some extra batteries and perhaps a gain antenna. You'll find a direct link to the volunteer registration form in this week's full edition of the Amateur Radio Newsline. The Southern California-based Papa Repeater System, in association with Broadcast Employees Amateur Radio Society and the Disney Emergency Amateur Radio Service, will be hosting the second K6H Hollywood Celebrates Ham Radio on-the-air special event, again originating from legendary Stage 9 of the CBS Studio Center, Sunday, September 28th, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific. Here's Bill Pasternak, WA6ITF, with more.
Stage 9 is best known as the Seinfeld stage and is currently the home of the hit ABC sitcom Last Man Standing, in which amateur radio plays an ongoing part in the show's plotline. Operation of K6H will be on 40, 20, and 10 meters, along with D-Star on reflector 12A. The event will also use the facilities of the Disney Amateur Radio Interconnect to link the WB6AJE repeater in Los Angeles to the Disney ABC Employee Sponsors repeaters in Manhattan, New York, Bristol, Connecticut, Washington, D.C., and Orlando, Florida. Various IRLP and Echolink nodes will also be online. Those who make contact with K6H will receive a special limited edition QSL card.
And as the day moves along, Tom Medlin, W5KUB, will be live from the event and will be streaming the highlights along with interviews of those who happen to drop by to operate K6H. And the PAPA website at papaassist.org will also stream video directly from each of the operating stations so that you just might be able to see yourself actually making a contact with K6H.
The first K6H operation took place October 28th, 2012, and was a huge success, and it looks like the second time will be even bigger. And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news, brought to you each and every week for over 35 years and counting at www.arnewsline.org. I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW 73. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.
ICOM America and ICOM Canada are teaming up to offer ham radio operators some incredible savings. You can get a great deal on a D-Star repeater direct from ICOM and help expand D-Star across North America. For a limited time, ICOM is offering a Buy Direct D-Star promotion for U.S. and Canadian residents. Purchase a D-Star repeater through the D-Star Infrastructure Program. The growth of D-Star over the past 4 years has been incredible, with the release of the ID51A and the IC7100. More people are getting on the air with this incredible mode. In response to the request to make the infrastructure more affordable, ICOM America and ICOM Canada are teaming up to expand the number of repeaters. Hurry! This Buy Direct promotion is good for a limited time. Download the mail order form, fill it out, and send it in by mail, fax, or email today. Find out what all the D-Star fun is about. Visit ICOMAmerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM's Buy Direct program. And you can tune in and enter to win after each episode of Ham Nation. Go to ICOMAmerica.com/HamNation and throw your hat. Don't throw your hat. Throw your name in the hat. And you can win some great prizes from ICOMSwag.com. They've got hats, T-shirts, and a lot of different items in there. And you'll also be entered in the monthly drawing, which is always a radio. And for September, the grand prize is going to be the ICOM ID31A, a submersible construction UHF handheld with D-Star, built-in GPS, micro SD card slot, automatic repeater list-up, and a lot more. So go to ICOMAmerica.com/HamNation after this and each episode of Ham Nation and enter to win. And there's another chance for you to win a radio from ICOM coming right up. This IC7100 sitting right beside me here. Also will come with a Little Tar Heel tuner, an MFJ, or a Little Tar Heel screwdriver antenna, an MFJ tuner, Comet dual band antenna, and Comet mounts. If you want to get in on that ICOM drawing, go over to amateurlogic.tv and check it out. It's our 9th anniversary over there, and we appreciate ICOM coming up with the great prizes there. And I guess now it's time to throw my hat at Amanda, since that seems to be all I can do with it tonight.
Don't do that.
Amanda?
Oh, that's funny. I don't have a hat to throw. I'm sorry. I could find some other object here. Anyhow, hi, George. Hello, Don. I think Dale is also with us. Hi, you guys. Let's get to it. I have some announcements to make. Hayden, W7HRH, who's 11 years old, just passed his tech class he passed his tech class in February, and now he just passed his general 2 weeks ago. So congrats, Hayden.
Wow.
Glad to see you on there.
He's 11? He's 11?
Yes.
Dude, that's awesome.
Totally. I mean, I got general when I was in my 30s. I'm not going to say when, but anyhow, congrats, Hayden. I hope to hear you on the air very soon, maybe tonight after the show. And KD0YQY, Derek, would like to announce the upcoming Iowa QSO party. That's going to be Saturday, October 18th from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time. All right. Thank you, Derek. And one more announcement to make tonight. We have Brad NK8J wants to let everybody know that this Saturday, September 27th, do drop in node 355800 at 2100 Eastern Time. Catch George Thomas live. George, anything else you want to talk about with that?
Yeah, some of you please show up for the net there because I'm going to feel mighty embarrassed if no one shows up for the interview.
Oh, they showed up for me. They'll show up for you.
Okay.
Aw. If you build it, they will come, right? Okay.
Right.
I'm just kidding. Okay, Pedro, CT1FCX would like to know, are any of you guys going to be joining the 2014 Jamboree on the air? I know that Ray does. Do you guys participate in that at all?
Not currently. No, I don't have any plans to attend.
I won't be there, but I may try to make some contacts. But as far as traveling to that, I would love to, but no, it's not in the cards probably.
Probably. What about you, Dale?
No, I don't believe I'll be traveling there either. We're going to try to work that special event those Sundays, so we're going to stay busy that day for sure.
Very good. And I like to make the contacts as well. It seems it's so funny. A group of guys, a group of girls, it doesn't matter when they're in their teenage years. They seem to be able to talk like none other, but you put a microphone in front of them and they just freeze up. So I like to make them feel a little bit more at home, kind of ease them a little bit when they hear a relaxing voice. So I encourage everybody to get on there and talk to them, of course. Okay, so I have some questions here. This one is for George. K9PLG Paul would like to know, would a coaxial dipole work on two bands in a fan configuration?
In a fan configuration, yeah, I would assume so. I mean, it's just another dipole antenna. And if you put them out connected to a common feed point there, yeah, they should work the same as long as you get your spacing like you normally would.
Very good. I hope that answered the question for you, Paul. And let's see. I have a question about, I don't personally. Phil, CS7AFP has a question about lightning arresters. George, would lightning arresters actually protect his station? And do they really give protection, and how to choose from them, please?
They'll give you some protection, has been my experience. If lightning is a large enough potential and a big strike, if it's going to hit you, it's going to hit you no matter what you've got. But sure, the surge protectors do help. You need to put them on your antenna if you can get one that's suitable. You want to make sure that the frequency and the power that you're going to be putting through it is okay for that protector. You can also use them on other sources. The lightning doesn't necessarily always run in on your coax. It could come in on your telephone lines, to your electrical utility, over the cable television, a lot of different places. So, yeah, they do help. I've used them at radio stations before. We put them on everything from audio cables on down, and it will make a significant difference. But still, if you get that big strike, it's coming on in.
Yeah, and lightning doesn't have to actually hit you either. You can get a near strike, and just the pulse and the static and everything that's from that, if it's a near strike, can wipe your stuff out. I've lost a computer, a TV. I've lost a couple of LNBs on my direct TV dish just from near field strikes. So yeah, the lightning, if lightning wants to get you, lightning will get you. It doesn't matter what you do with it.
That is absolutely correct. Here in Colorado, we see lightning all the time. And we're not the #1 state, though. I did read that Florida is the #1 state for lightning strikes, but Colorado sure does take its proportion of them. And I'll tell you, most of the time, it blows up our flipping router. Other things that it blows up is our security cameras and stupid stuff, things that you don't typically use a lot of. Maybe like I have a little dust buster that has a wall wart, blew that up. We deal with it a lot here, and our repeaters on top of mountains get a lot of lightning strikes, and there's a lot of times in the middle of the summer that we have to go up and fix them. So usually, yes, take as much protection or the precaution as you can for protection, but sometimes Mother Nature just doesn't care. So, but anyhow, thank you, Phil, for asking that question. We appreciate it. All right, we have another question from Tyler. George, this is again for you. He's wondering if you could tell us where your favorite place to get your kits is at.
No, I really can't. There's just so many different places you can get kits, and it all depends on what you want because they all have different things. So I'm just kind of all over the map on that one.
Understood. You know what? I buy stuff where it's on sale or if I have a discount code. So that's where I typically like to buy things. I'm not particular to one place, that's for sure. Okay. The big question of the night, what is the noise? Dale, are you ready?
I'm ready. I saw they were really chatting about it on there, but be pretty nice to see what Don and George think. The first sound was a lot like the sound I have here from the power lines, and the power company's been out and they cleaned all of the insulators. They did everything they could, but it's still there. So I'm going to move the receive antennas 500 feet away from them, and we're going to see what happens. That'll make it a lot better. But yeah, this is really good. I'd like to see what they think of the woodpecker sound there from N6JRZ, and also from our friend there in New York, Stefan. So let's open up the field and see what kind of answers we get.
Okay, I don't know how many of you guys watch the History Channel and the show about ancient aliens, that guy with the crazy hair. A lot of people said aliens. I'm just saying. Other thoughts, techno music, helicopter with INOP cyclic. I'm not even sure what that is. You guys are going to have to explain that one to me. And a compressor, cyclic. Thank you, Don. Thank you so much. A compressor, a washing machine, an antenna analyzer. I don't think there was really a definite answer. So, Don, what do you think it was?
I don't know. The second one, I heard somebody say it might have been Dale, over the horizon radar. That's kind of what I'm thinking as well. The first, I have no idea, but I don't know. But you know what? What might help is filtering. I mean, I don't know if that would help. But see, like here, like this antenna right here, this little HT antenna. I find that I like to put. ICOM makes a real nice filter. I just put it right here on top of it, and it lulls me into a period of calm where I don't care about it. And what's nice about this is if it gets hit by lightning, bacon.
Really? Okay. That's great. Thank you so much. Very scientific. Okay, so George, what did you think it was?
Well, I think number one, it's a shame Gordo's not here because he would probably have the correct answers. But my guess on the first one, it sounds to me like the compressor on a reefer truck while the guy's parked over next door sleeping at night. And the second one sounds like a bird chirping. I really don't know what they are. I have heard the first one, though, before, and I wish I did know what it was.
Very good. Now, here in Colorado, we always think that it's somebody across the street growing marijuana. So I'm sure that's not the answer. Is there an actual answer, Dale?
Not that I know of. No, these guys are just looking for help. And they wanted to reach out to the Ham Nation community and see what they could find out. To me, that first one sounds a lot like the noise off of the power lines here. And it's a type of noise. It's a frequency of such that it just will not, you cannot even null it at all with the noise blanker. Of course, you can take it out with the DSP circuits in your receiver and your transceiver. But when you do that, then the audio becomes very hard because you're taking a lot of the audio out too. So it's 6 to 1, half a dozen the other. We'll let you know and maybe do a video on the active antenna type approach a long way away from the source and see what happens then. Amanda, go ahead.
That's great. And by the way, during the UHF VHF contest this last year, June 13th, I think it was thereabouts, I'm not going to confirm or deny, but we were getting some noises like that, and some of the fellows went out with a huge sledgehammer looking for isolators. Just saying. Maybe that could be the problem as well. Let's see. I don't have any other questions for tonight. Don, do you have anything else?
No, I'm just giggling to myself that we talked about, George mentioned reefer trucks, and you went right into the marijuana growers across the street. I'm just giggling to myself. Well, and the icon pig is amusing me as well. So.
Oh, that's adorable. Hey, how are you feeling, by the way?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm a little sore after the car wreck, but no, I'm good. So.
That's good.
Thank you.
It looked awful, by the way. It looked terrible. I have some news. This last weekend, wow, I coordinated the Bikes and Brews 100-mile, 100K, 50K bike run here throughout Fremont County. And if I must say myself, I did a pretty good job. Very successful. All the communications got across. And these are in some very deep canyons where there's hardly any coverage whatsoever, and definitely no cell phones. So it was pretty successful. I appreciate everybody from throughout Colorado areas that came out to help with that. I had about 20 people working underneath me, plus the Colorado State Patrol, 2 sheriffs, and of course, going back and forth as a liaison to the bike event coordinator. So it was very successmal. And I owe a lot of favors to a lot of people for them coming out to do that. So, George, do you have anything else for us?
Let's see. We got a few minutes so I can come up with something. First, Don, I tried it here, and I'm still picking up noise on my end.
Yeah, but you know what? The thing is, the more you stare at that thing going back and forth, the less you care about it.
Well, true. And there's several other things you can use for that same effect, but we won't get into that here. Gordo probably knows what those things are. The second one there, the one I said sounded like a bird chirping, I don't know what you're going to do to get rid of that. That sounds to me like something real strong coming in. The first one, I don't know, you might try your noise blanker and see if that would help. Sometimes it helps me on those type of sounds, but not always. It's just kind of hit and miss, but I will try the noise blanker. And, that's not always the best solution, because if you run it too high, then the strong signals start distorting on you. So, try some different things, but both of those sounded like pretty severe noise cases to me.
Hey, George, do you have the dual band version?
No, I don't, Don.
You can look. You can front to back. You can adjust it that way.
Oh, okay.
That's funny.
It's nice. Co-phasing. Yeah, it's nice. Dual band.
Mm-hmm. So what does that look like with the analyzer?
Bacon.
Oh.
The answer is always bacon. You can answer any question bacon, and it will never be wrong.
That's exactly right. By the way, you guys.
43.
Somebody, side of fries wants to know, and I bet we all have an example of this somewhere in the bottom of our ham shack, in the bottom of a closet. Wants to know what would happen to a radio with a direct strike. Not sure anything would happen actually to the radio, but look for the side of your house or your antenna. What do you think, George?
Bacon.
Pieces parts, yeah. Bacon.
Yeah.
Bacon.
Yeah.
Well
you get a
fried,
direct
well
strike. Yeah.
Well,
it's going to be.
bits.
It's going to be bad. Sometimes you might not, actually notice anything wrong with your radio, but then a month or so down the road, you got problems. The damage is always not necessarily done right when you get the strike. It's going to weaken some components in there, and you could show up with a problem later.
Very good. That sounds great. Okay, let's see. Dale, anything else?
I don't believe so. On the case of lightning, one of the best, in Kansas here, we're like Colorado. We have severe lightning storms. And one of the best bets is just to disconnect everything for the duration, because they usually go over in about 15, 20, 30 minutes, and then they're on their way. So maybe disconnect is the real true answer to that type of problem there, Amanda. Go ahead.
Yeah, and there's There are online resources that you can actually go online and look and see where in real time where lightning strikes are. And the funny thing about lightning is you don't have to be in the storm to get hit. You can get clear air lightning that can actually go horizontally from the cloud like 10 or 12 miles and then come down to the ground. So you can be in clear air, sunshine, and get hit. So yeah, go online, just do a Google search for real-time lightning strikes, and I'm sure you'll find 3 or 4 or 5 dozen websites that will show you, probably I saw one that will show you even globally where lightning strikes are going on in real time within seconds. So something to check out.
Absolutely. And look into insurance. ARRL supplies some very cheap insurance for your equipment, just in case there is a real problem. Get it, you guys. It's worth it.
First thing I think you should do, though, is check your grounding. Go out. Don't just assume that your electrical service where it comes in the house has a ground on it. Mine didn't. And, boy, I got a strike. Took out about 20 things around here. So I went out there and put a ground rod, installed it, connected that up. And then I also, did some additional grounding on my tower. I haven't had any lightning problems since then, but boy, that one that made it through, really tore up some stuff. So don't just assume you got good grounds on everything. Go look. You ought to have a ground rod just there for your electrical service. If your cable television and your telephone come in around the same area, they should be tied into that same ground if at all possible. And check all of that stuff. Any wires that are coming into the house, make sure you got a good ground system there on that. And they should all be, if possible, and if they're near each other, on the same ground rod going in the ground. And your DirecTV satellite dishes, you need a ground on that too.
Absolutely. All right. Good stuff, Amanda. Thank you so much for the chat room. Looks like we're at the end of our string here for this week. But before we go, we want to, of course, tell you where the 20-meter and 40-meter net frequencies are. Do we have those? Where are those, guys? Where are they on tonight?
40 meters is 7276 tonight, Don. 7276.
We have an announcement about that, though. Dale, why don't you take it away? What happened last week? How many check-ins?
Oh, that was great. Fantastic week. We decided that rather than chat like we usually do, we'd see how many check-ins we could get. And Mike was really impressed there. We wound up with 126 altogether. Wow. I know I had about 46 check-ins here in South Central Kansas. And it was just amazing. And there were more out there that wanted to join the Ham Nation post-show net. This week, I think they're going back more to normal and talk to some of the old timers on there, but we'll see what develops here very shortly there, Amanda.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I remember I forgot, and then I remembered about the email. You guys got over 100 check-ins. I was like, wow, that's great. So good job, Dale. Go ahead.
No,
Don, sorry.
That's good stuff. George, where are the digital nets on tonight? We've got Dewdrop and D-Star. Where can we find those?
Okay, well, first, the 20-meter net is going to be on 14.269 tonight. The D-Star net is going to be on Reflector 14 Module C, and they've got a website now for that net. It's HamNationDStar.net. And Echolink is going to be on Star, Dewdrop, and Star, or node number 355800. And I'll be on there Saturday night, I believe it's at 8 p.m. Central Daylight Time, for the Amateur Radio Newsline net. They're going to do a little interview on me, as we mentioned earlier. So look forward to seeing some of you there.
Good. Awesome stuff. Guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight on Ham Nation. We do it all for you. We wouldn't be here if you weren't out there watching, so we do appreciate you. And so for George and Amanda and Dale and Gordon, and of course for Bob, who is absent with us, but we'll be back soon. I'm Don, 73 from South Mississippi. We love you. We appreciate you. And we will see you guys next week here on Ham Nation. Good night.